Sit down. Be quiet. I said stop. How many times have you ever used those words on your children? Well, what about if you use those words on your children that have ADD, ADHD? What do you do? Do you believe that diets can affect our children? What if I said that I believe that diets as a whole could help you and your child with their ADD, ADHD symptoms? Many parents nowadays, they put their children on medication, but not even think about what the children are eating and how this could be affecting their ADD. They could be just giving their child the medication and not treating the entire ability as a whole. They're only treating half of the deficit. Think about this. Diets affect all of us, correct? So if it affects us as the adults, why would it not affect the children with ADD or ADHD? Think about the sweets, the sugars, and the additives that they're putting into their bodies. Think about the lunches that you go and you pack them. The little bag of chips, the little bag of Oreos that you pack in their lunches. How is that not affecting them with the dyes and the preservatives and the sugar, the caffeine? We want the best for our children. So giving them the healthy foods to eat is definitely a plus and something that we need to be providing them. We want to limit the additives, the sugar, and eat as close to whole natural foods as possible. Let's discuss a little bit about the additives and how that could affect your child with ADD, ADHD. In 2007, a series of studies were published, and they were called the Southampton studies. They made a direct correlation to additives in children's diets and how it affected them. The effects of food behaviors were seen in as little as 1 hour from consuming the actual additive. There was an increase in inattentiveness, an increase in impulsivity, and overreactiveness. There's also another set of studies called the Lancelot studies, and these were controlled trials that ended up showing links between the hyperactivity and the inattention that children had while consuming the preservatives. Think about this as well. Americans now are eating much more preservative foods than what we did 30 years ago. Excuse me. And there's also been an increased number of ADHD in adults. Here's an interesting fact for you. Because of the studies that were published in Europe with the Lancelot and the Southampton studies, McDonald's uses real strawberries to color their strawberry sundaes. But here in the US, the preservatives and the dyes are not banned, and McDonald's uses them in their strawberry sundaes. And that was coming from an e-Zine article on the web. We had to think about what you're feeding your children, and food dyes that are present in junk food. They are present in most packaged foods with the brightly colored packaging. So be on the lookout for that. The best thing that you can probably do is go and read your food labels to determine what is in those little bag of cookies or the bag of Skittles that you're giving your child. And again, this was also found in the e-Zine articles on the web. Now that we talked about preservatives, let's also go and touch base on the amount of limiting sugar in diets. Again, we talked about the preservatives, and now, we know that you're not going to hand your child a tablespoon of sugar and say, go at them. But let's sit back and think about all the sugar that your child can consume throughout the day. He gets up, he may have, a piece of cinnamon toast or a bowl of cereal, and then he has a glass of orange juice. And then later on, he may have something sweet for a snack at school. And then for his lunch, you may have packed him those bag of cookies as a treat, and it may be a piece of fruit. And then he comes home from school, and then he has maybe a Coca-Cola or even some fruit juice. Then he might have, some kind of cake that you have packaged there. Think about all those sugary items he just ate throughout the day and how that's going to be affecting his attentiveness and his hyperactivity. He's going to have the ups and downs all day long of the sugar, which where he'll get the rush, and then he's going to come back down. And then he's going to go and get another rush because of the snack time, and then it's going to come back down. So all throughout the day, he's up and down in his sugar levels. Now, children are sensitive to the sugar anyway. So think about if you had a child with ADD, ADHD, how that was affecting them. How that could be affecting not only just their blood sugar levels, but their mood swings that they could be experiencing. The best thing, is a natural diet. So yes, you will have some sugar in the natural fruits such as, apples and bananas and strawberries. You'll have some of them. However, the processed sugar will be limited. And then eating the whole foods will be much better, and it will be able to stabilize the blood sugar levels throughout his body. There is this thing called the ADD diet, and it's basically whole foods, and it is along the lines of limiting your preservatives and limiting your sugar as well. It consists of no dairies, no junk foods, no fruit juices, no fried foods, nothing packaged. You're supposed to just basically eat food that you can find out in the garden and what God has made. Think about this. How much sugar is in a glass of milk? That's a dairy product. Or the sugars that are found in in cheese. The junk food, the fruit juice. Fruit juice could be good, however, you got to watch the sugar. So that ADD diet, it's really limiting the sugars and the junk foods that you can be putting in your child's body. And really what you need to be eating is the whole food vegetables and the natural carbohydrates, the fruits, the proteins. Not only will this be better for his body, but the attitude and the behavior will also be more consistent. He will not have the ups and downs constantly. I mean, if you really sit down and think about it, how can it not? How can it not affect that? I mean, think about how you feel when you get done eating a fried food or something sugary, like an ice cream sundae. You go out to a favorite ice cream place and you have a hot fudge sundae. Hey, it may taste good going down the first 5 minutes, but then how do you feel afterwards? You feel bloated, you feel tired, you feel that rush of sugar, and then a half hour later you're like, blech. You don't feel good, you just feel awful. Now think about if you've just wanted to have just a handful of fruit or, some vegetables. How does your body feel from that? Do you feel tired or bloated or bleh? You feel a little bit more energetic. You feel healthier. You don't get that up and down sugar level rush. So think about it. If we experience this, imagine a little child that can experience that. If your child has ADD or ADHD, it is possible that therapy, along with a change in diet, can be beneficial and will help calm the child down. Again, look at the diet, look at what he's eating, and just picture in your mind a child that is happier, healthier, calmer, and more self-controlled. You know, if you're not sure where to start, you can go see a nutritionist. And you don't have to stop there. You can go see an allergist because, that will also help. I would definitely go get them tested thoroughly outside of the school system and get them to a psychologist where you'll know your options. You have to be the advocate for your child. You have to be the one that steps up for your child. You have to be the one that will lead and guide your child. Yes, they may say that they don't like you at that moment, but we've all been there. They'll still love you. But knowing that what you're putting into their bodies can affect them and their moods and their sugar levels and just how it all affects their body put together, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you look at it as a whole package and not just the medication? You would really want to look at the entire inside and out package deal. It's just like the old saying, you are what you eat. So you need to change the entire lifestyle. Not only was it good for him, but it's probably good for the rest of the family as well. And I also embedded a video clip in this PowerPoint, which shows how to control your ADHD with diet. I hope you enjoy.